الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله. الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك ولعظيم سلطانك. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله على ما أنعمت وأوليت يا رب العالمين. اللهم كما أنعمت فأدم وزدنا من نعمك واجعلنا من الشاكرين. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله رحمة للعالمين وهدى وبشرى للمحسنين، فبلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. فصل اللهم عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اهتدى بهديه واتبع سنته واقتفى أثره بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فيقول ربنا سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه العزيز: وما كان المؤمنون لينفروا كافة فلولا نفر من كل فرقة منهم طائفة ليتفقهوا في الدين ولينذروا قومهم إذا رجعوا إليهم لعلهم يحذرون. Allah the Almighty says in Surah At-Tawbah, it's not necessary for all the believers to go forth, i.e. for jihad altogether. There's no general call for that. Instead, it should be a group of people who will stay behind from every section to learn the understanding of their religion. And when they return back, they can disseminate this knowledge for the group, for the people, that they may be aware. In this ayah we see Allah Azza wa Jalla is talking about لِيَتَفَقَّهُ, understanding. And the word fiqh and faqiha, it's been repeated in the Quran 20 times in 12 surahs in the Quran. And the root word faqiha in the Arabic dictionary, it's about al-fahm أو الفهم المعمق. فقه يفقه فهم فهما معمق. The deep understanding is fiqh, linguistic. And the technical definition of fiqh is about understanding the Sharia, i.e. the Quran and the Sunnah, how to apply the Quran and Sunnah in our world. So we have seen plenty of verses as well as plenty of hadith in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ emphasizing the importance of understanding rather than memorizing. In Surah Taha, verse 114, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا, say, my Lord, increase me in knowledge. So it's a call, it's a supplication through the Prophet ﷺ to his ummah to seek knowledge and increase their understanding, because this will make them closer to Allah. As in the other verse, Allah has said, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. The most fearful of Allah are the scholars. So the more we understand, the more we learn, the more we are closer to Allah Azza wa Jalla. In the hadith which been narrated in Sunan Abi Dawood and others, and there are plenty of these narrations similar to this, Jabir bin Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala anhu mentioned that once we were traveling together with a group of companions, and one of us, he was injured in his head, heavy injury. And he slept and he woke up in the morning with a wet dream, so he has to make ghusl. So he asked his companions, do I have the permission to make tayammum instead? Because it's a deep injury, if I were to wash it, it will affect me. They said, no, you have no permission, you have to do ghusl. So he made ghusl, and it was very cold, and then he passed away, accordingly. When they returned to the Prophet ﷺ, they narrated what happened. And he was so angry, ﷺ, to the extent that he made dua against them. He said, قَتَلُوهُ قَتَلَهُمُ اللَّهُ هَلَّا سَأَلُوا إِذْ لَمْ يَعْلَمُوا إِنَّمَا شِفَاءُ الْعِيِّ السُّؤَالِ. They have killed him, may Allah curse them. Have they asked if they have no knowledge? So because of their fatwa, they have killed him. So not necessarily to have a knife to kill somebody, sometimes a fatwa can kill a nation. Misunderstanding of the deen is very dangerous. This is why the Prophet ﷺ emphasized many times in different occasions and different narrations on the importance of understanding. مَنْ يُرِدِ اللَّهُ بِهِ خَيْرًا يُفَقِّهُ فِي الدِّينِ. In Bukhari and others, Prophet ﷺ said, whoever Allah wishes good for, He gives him understanding of the deen. Understanding. So this understanding, if we lack understanding, we have plenty of problems in conveying the message, in applying the message, in living the message. So this is why in another occasion the Prophet ﷺ made a special supplication and dua to Ibn Abbas, whom we all know that he is Turjuman al-Quran, the translator of the Quran. What was the dua? The Prophet ﷺ said, Allahumma faqihhu fi ad-din wa 'allimhu at-ta'wil. Oh Allah, give him, i.e. to Ibn Abbas, the deep understanding of the deen, and teach him the interpretation of the Quran. And I can go on these narrations and verses in the Quran, but nevertheless we have a limited time. So if we have lack of understanding, if we have misunderstanding, the wrong understanding, we are creating problems in our lives, in our community, in our families, as well as in our conveyance to the message to those who are around us. This is why the Prophet ﷺ was so angry, because they delivered the wrong fatwa and they have limited understanding. The easy option is to say, I don't know, I have to ask. This is the easy option, and this is the right action which we should take when you are introduced to something which you do not know the details. Say, I don't know. Don't jump into the fatwa and start delivering fatwas and opinions, to the extent that sometimes our limited understanding might make us go outside the boundaries. Like we are like captives to what we know, and sometimes depends on our character, depends on our attitude. Sometimes we might fight anything outside the knowledge which we know. So if you've been introduced a different opinion, that the opinion which you have been living all your life with, you will fight it as if it's an enemy, even though it might be a different school, like a Shafi'i versus Hanafi, or Maliki versus Hanbali, and vice versa. So this kind of understanding is the wrong understanding. And this will create, lack of understanding will create in some people exclusivity of the truth. That what we have learned is Islam. Outside what we have learned is outside the boundary of Islam. to the extent that anything outside the Hanafi school or the Shafi'i school or any school, for them it's not Islam. We have to fight it. And we have this old problem in our history, fatwas left, right and center, that the Shafi'i is not allowed to marry from the Hanafi. You might be joking, this is reality. And the Hanafi cannot eat the zabiha of the Shafi'i. And unfortunately, I've seen this popping into the surface again in this very country. I'm not talking about 1400 years or 200 years ago. Now, some muftis are delivering such fatwas in this very country. Lack of understanding, just accumulation of knowledge with no understanding. And their followers, unfortunately, acting as such, that they are the protectors of Islam and they will go and fight anything outside the school which we have learnt. The opinion of their Shaykh is Islam. Anything outside that is against Islam. And they might issue some fatwas that this is kafir and this is zindiq and this is munafiq and you name it. Why? Because of the lack of understanding, limited understanding. And number two, it will create, after this exclusivity of Islam, it will create superiority in them, that they'll start look down at you, that we have the truth. The truth is us, and you are outside that boundary. So they will act with hidden arrogance. And the third thing, they will start classify people. And then we have this concept of the saved group. So our group is the saved group. Anything outside our group is in hell. So this kind of mentality is leading to dismissing any other opinion, or the ability even to listen to a different opinion, regardless if you are going to accept it or not. But even the possibility of hearing or listening a different opinion is not there. And this will lead to extreme understanding and rigidness. And this rigidness will cause a lot of troubles in our life. So we need to reverse this cycle. Islam is wider than any opinion, is wider than any school, is wider than any imam or any sheikh. Islam is the Quran and the Sunnah, accommodates all of us, all these schools. So we need to be more open and go back to the prophetic understanding rather than some people's understanding in our day and age. If we are not doing so, we will increase our isolation and our problems. The Prophet ﷺ, he emphasized on the importance of understanding. And this understanding might kill some people, as we've seen in the narration of Jabir radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So we need to save ourselves from such calamities with open understanding, based of course on the principles, on the Quranic and prophetic principles, but nevertheless not to be close-minded and rigid people. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على النبي المصطفى وعلى آله وصحبه ومن بعهده وفى. The Prophet ﷺ used to accommodate different opinions amongst his companions ﷺ. In different events, we've seen he allowed more than one opinion to be disseminated on a certain thing. So he was sallallahu alayhi wasallam teaching us how to accommodate one another. As long as we are acting under the boundaries of Islam, inside the boundaries of Islam, that's fine. So for those who prayed Asr before they went to Bani Qurayza, he accepted that. And for those who did not pray Asr until they reached there, he accepted that. In the very famous event in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and other occasions. So he's teaching us ﷺ how to be open and how to accommodate one another rather than being rigid and strict. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the deep understanding and to enable us to follow the prophetic example sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I know people were having high hopes that it's coming home, but it didn't. Nevertheless, who lost a battle, not necessarily that he lost the war. So keep struggling, keep trying. Nevertheless, we need to understand that it's not just about the game, it's about the concept. The concept that never give up. If you have something good in your mind and you fail to achieve, keep trying until you master it, until you achieve it. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give us the resilience and sabr to enable us to be amongst those who disseminate the prophetic understanding. Ameen. Allahumma ya Rabbu ya Rahman, ya Badi'a as-samawati wal ard, ya Dhal Jalali wal Ikram. اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أخرنا وما أسررنا وما أعلنا وما أنت أعلم به منا. اللهم ارزقنا فهم الإسلام يا رب العالمين. اللهم فقهنا في الدين، اللهم فقهنا في الدين، اللهم فقهنا في الدين، واجعلنا من عبادك المخلصين. هيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا ومخرجا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. أجب دعانا بكرمك يا مولانا والحمد لله رب العالمين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله.